Hi, we're Tera Mira, and we're developing a bio-based alternative to elastane for knickers that are stretchy and sustainable.
Elastane is a synthetic fiber that is added to textiles, typically between 5 to 10%, to provide the stretch, the fit, and the comfort our underwear relies on. Yet, this fiber is fossil fuel-based, it's toxic to produce, it contributes to microplastic pollution. But the worst thing is that elastane makes any textiles containing it impossible to recycle. It has a very low melting point, which clogs recycling streams. And so for us, it was crazy to think that this small 5% is blocking the fashion industry efforts towards sustainability, but more precisely, circularity. And so, yeah, clothes ultimately ending up in landfill, like they're not recycled.
So, brands have tried removing elastane, but customers weren't happy with the fit, leading to declining sales. There have also been attempts to produce alternatives to elastane. But I'm sure you're not surprised that in a world of bold sustainability claims, our biggest competitor claims to be bio-based, but is actually 63% derived from petrochemicals. So, we're developing a fully bio-based, compostable alternative to elastane using the natural stretch properties from seaweed. The process begins by extracting the necessary compounds from seaweeds. Then, at Tera Mira, we take these compounds and transform them into a bio-based fiber. This can then be knitted or woven into textiles just like elastane. But seaweed is an incredibly sustainable feedstock. It doesn't require land or fertilizer. And our process operates under low temperatures without the need of toxic solvents. In fact, we're working with textile producers early on to ensure that our fiber fits seamlessly into their processes, saving them from extra costs and a headache down the line.
Our strategy is to start with the UK underwear industry. We've shown the most readiness and where sustainability meets necessity. What I mean by that is that the underwear are the closest to our skin, and no one really buys them secondhand as well. So from that, we see a potential to expand into other markets where stretch is important, like sportswear and denim. We are the right team to take on this challenge. I am bringing a sustainability and business background with first-hand insight on the global fashion waste problem, while Lucy is an award-winning bioengineering team leader with R&D industry experience. So since we started Undaunted, we've conducted more than 50 interviews with experts from different industries. We learned a lot and actually realized that there was a real need for a bio-based alternative to elastane, specifically for the underwear industry. So we continue our market validation, attended trade show in Europe and Vietnam, spoke more with the industry, and we understood that there was a clear opportunity and need. This was further validated by the H&M Foundation, who selected us as a top 20 finalists out of 500 global applicants for the Global Change Award.
So, we're developing our prototype with exciting new academic collaborations for testing and refining our fiber. We're working on getting our prototype ready for industry pilots at the beginning of next year. We'll be patenting our product, and we'll be ready for investment in the autumn. But we know that our innovation alone is not enough. Real progress in sustainability comes through collaboration. So, if you are a part of any of these industries, we would love to learn from your insights and create meaningful change together. Thank you.
Okay, well done, brilliant pitch. Time for questions now. And let's kick one off with something you mentioned in your pitch. You talked about your biggest competitor claiming to be bio-based. Do you have any competitors that are biodegradable or compostable?
That's a very good question. So actually, the whole end-of-life aspect with biodegradability and compostability is really what we're focusing on, but it's and what is at the heart of our mission. But actually, when we look at our market research, it is only part of one aspect of it. There's also the questions of the feedstock which our competitors is using, as well as the process they're using to make our fiber. And so, for example, two competitors that say that they are fully bio-based and fully biodegradable. Sorry. One of them may remain majorly on petrochemicals. So actually, that questions then the production process and also the end of life, continuing with microplastics, etc. And then our second competitor that claims to be biodegradable is using natural rubber, which is a very limited resource, and actually the EU has deemed it as a critical raw materials. So that has further questions on the future of and scalability of the process, and it's also linked with deforestation.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. Okay, moving on to questions from the audience now. And the first question asks, does the fibre soak up water? Can it be washed?
So, yeah, this is a great question. And as an engineer, it's a challenge. This fiber needs to go through a washing machine. And that is a very difficult challenge indeed. We are making the fiber able to resist water, and we are engineering it in a way in which it's not going to soak up anything, but it's difficult. And the idea is, yes, it can be washed. But as you can imagine, this is a long-term goal, to produce a fiber that's fully bio-based and machine washable. So, on the way to creating this fiber that can actually be machine washable and compostable at the end, I'll be working on developing iterations of this fiber, while Jean is working on our commercialization strategy. And actually, we're already partnering with a sock brand that is looking at creating single-use socks for airplanes that simply get thrown away. But they could be instead created with our bio-based fiber instead. So, in the short term, maybe it's not so much of a problem, but in the long term, we're working on it.
Okay. Moving on, is it more expensive than current alternatives? And if so, why do you think brands will pay a green premium?
Of course, it's going to be more expensive than elastane. Elastane is a petrochemical, and everything made from petrochemicals is usually the cheapest option. But brands are already paying more for these alternatives. As Jean mentioned, there are brands that claim to be biodegradable and simply aren't, and the brands are already paying more. And we're in conversation with lots of them that are worried about the cost, but really what they want is a truly sustainable solution, and we're going to be able to provide that for them.
Right, okay, I think we have time for at least one more. How durable is it?
I mean, we want this product to be able to survive your underwear over many life cycles. So we are still in the R&D process. We don't yet have a figure on our durability, but of course, we have it in mind that we want this product to last as many lifetimes in the washing machine as possible.
Okay, just time for one more. How long will it take to commercialize the process?
I mean, do you want to answer it?
No, go for it.
Okay.
Compliment.
Okay, sure. The commercialization, well, as I mentioned, if the first step is creating a fiber which can be used for single-use socks, that's a pretty short timeline, because to get to a single-use fiber is not going to take us very long. To get to our end goal of a machine-washable, compostable fiber, it's going to take a bit longer. But as I mentioned, we hope to be ready for industry pilots at the beginning of next year.
Okay, that brings us to time. Thank you, well done.
Thank you so much.